Welcome to May 2025, a month that feels like an open window after a long, stagnant season. If April felt like you were pacing, waiting for something to land, May kicks open the doors and says, "Let's go." And not just in a superficial way, but on every level of your being, emotionally, professionally, physically, and spiritually. You, more than most signs, know what it means to follow the call of growth. And this month, that call gets louder, clearer, and far more aligned with who you are becoming. There's a pulse to this month, a rhythm that reminds you what it feels like to believe again, in yourself, in others, in possibility. With the Sun, Venus, and Mercury highlighting your axis of creativity, routine, and relationships, this isn't a month about sitting still or staying safe. It's a month that asks you to take the leap, but this time with more wisdom in your wings. And while yes, there are retrogrades and reflection points, they aren't here to hold you back. They're here to sharpen your instincts and remind you of what's worth your energy. This is the month your joy returns with a vengeance. Your truth gets louder, and your ability to magnetize opportunity is at an all-year high, especially when you choose authenticity over performance. So let's explore what this vibrant chapter has in store for you, starting with the part of your life that's lighting up like a neon sign, your heart. Sagittarius, May 2025 opens the doors wide on your heart space, and you feel it almost immediately. From the very first day of the month, there's this sense of warmth, possibility, and emotional vibrancy that's hard to ignore. Your fifth house, the domain of joy, romance, creativity, and spontaneous fun, is fully lit, and the universe is urging you to not just dip your toes in, but to cannonball into emotional aliveness. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, has taken residence here. And while she may be retracing her steps due to a retrograde, that doesn't dull her sparkle. It just makes her slower, deeper, more intentional. And for you, that's a gift. You're being pulled to examine not just who you love or how you love, but what feeling fully alive in love really means. If you're in a relationship, May is where emotional honesty becomes your superpower. This isn't the month to skate by with surface-level affection or dodge deeper conversations. You're being called to show up, to express, to ask those questions that lead to richer connection. It could be as subtle as a long walk and a meaningful heart-to-heart, or it could be more charged, digging into old patterns that are ready to be released. The point is, your partnership is shifting, and it's shifting for the better, as long as you're brave enough to walk through the fire of truth. Single Sagittarians, buckle up. May brings back people from the past, but this time you see it differently. An old crush may resurface, or a long-lost connection might ping your phone out of nowhere. But with Venus retrograde, this isn't just about nostalgia. It's about revelation. What did that relationship teach you? What part of you was craving validation through that connection? And more importantly, who are you now, compared to the person you were then? And for those who are open to new love, there's magic brewing. It may not come in fireworks or grand gestures. It may begin in a quiet bookstore, a community event, a shared glance at a cafe, but something about it will feel right, familiar, kind, and yet electric in its potential. This month also stirs your passion, not just romantically, but creatively. Your desire to create, to express, to bring something beautiful into the world is amplified, whether it's through painting, dancing, writing, or simply pouring your emotions into a journal. May begs you to remember that love is a verb, and creativity is how you practice it with life itself. There's also a thread of playfulness here. You've been serious lately, more than most people realize. The worries, the responsibilities, the pressure to always be strong or in control, it's been weighing you down. But May says gently and joyfully, "Hey, let's laugh again. Let's flirt with the moment. Let's let the sun hit our face without immediately thinking about productivity. So do it. Wear the outfit that makes you feel radiant. Send the risky text. Sign up for the silly class. Let your inner romantic, your inner artist, your inner lover come out to play, and watch how your entire emotional landscape transforms. This month isn't just about growth and external wins. It's also about tending to your engine, the one that keeps everything else in motion. And that engine, quite simply, is your health. Not just the absence of illness or fatigue, but your relationship to energy, rhythm, and rest. May has you tuning in deeper than usual. The sixth house, your zone of well-being, daily rituals, and the mind-body connection, is buzzing with insight. And that's no small thing, because for a fire sign like you, structure can often feel restrictive. But what if, instead of confining you, the right structure could free you? What if the discipline wasn't about control, but about creating space for your natural vitality to thrive? This month is about bringing your habits back into alignment with your actual lifestyle, not the one you used to have or the one you wish you had. If you've outgrown your morning routine, this is when you'll notice. If your body has been sending quiet signals, fatigue that hits earlier than usual, digestion that's off, or moods that swing more than they used to, those whispers might get louder. You're not being punished. You're being asked to adjust before things spiral. It might begin with something simple, like finally getting serious about hydration or recognizing that coffee on an empty stomach isn't working anymore. Maybe your screen time is up and your sleep quality is down. Maybe you've realized that skipping lunch while chasing deadlines is eroding your focus, not helping it. And maybe, just maybe, it's not about cutting things out this time, but adding something nourishing in, like 20 minutes of silence before the chaos of the day, like sunlight on your face without checking your phone, like giving your nervous system the gentleness it's been craving. There's also a powerful message here about listening to your emotional body. Anxiety, tension, even low-grade irritability. They're not character flaws, they're signals. You might discover that your body is trying to help you navigate choices you've been avoiding. Pay attention to those twinges in your stomach when you open your inbox, or the weight in your chest after a call with that one draining person. These signals are messages, and this month is about learning to trust them. You might be drawn to more somatic tools this month: movement, breath work, sound baths, or even acupuncture. Don't resist the pull toward things that feel strange but soothing. The point isn't to fix yourself, it's to come back home to yourself. The cosmic weather also encourages slowing down enough to reevaluate your calendar. Do your commitments actually reflect your current capacity? Or are you operating on outdated expectations of what you should be able to handle? This isn't just a question of boundaries, it's a question of integrity. Are you showing up in ways that are sustainable? Or are you sprinting on a marathon route hoping adrenaline will carry you the rest of the way? Some of you may also receive a literal wake-up call, a lab result, a physical symptom, a canceled plan that leaves you with unexpected time to reflect. Don't ignore it. Don't panic either. This isn't about alarm bells. It's about course correction. May's gift is this: a chance to rewire your relationship to energy, not as a resource to burn through, but as a sacred currency to protect. Start small, one decision at a time, one day of true rest, one meal that feels like a gift to your cells, one walk that clears your mind instead of just checking a step count. This is your recalibration moment, your invitation to tune in instead of pushing through. And once you find that rhythm again, you'll be unstoppable. In the professional realm, May 2025 is shaping up to be a month of steady elevation, unexpected clarity, and practical momentum. It may not bring fireworks, but it delivers something far more powerful for you: traction. The kind that turns ideas into systems, that transforms instinct into influence, and that begins to bridge the gap between potential and visible results. You've been dancing around an inner truth for a while. Something about your work no longer feels as expansive as it once did. That doesn't necessarily mean your career is wrong for you, but it does mean you're outgrowing a version of how you show up in it. And May is when that realization becomes impossible to ignore. Early in the month, you may find yourself pulled into a project or conversation that feels both exciting and slightly out of your comfort zone. Don't shy away. This is your cue that leadership is no longer optional. It's expected. Even if it's informal leadership like guiding a team dynamic, mentoring someone quietly, or taking initiative on a stalled assignment, you're stepping into your earned authority, not because you're shouting louder, but because you're finally letting your work speak. That said, this month requires serious organization. Mid-month, around May 14th to 15th, conversations around long-term projects, company changes, or new opportunities might pick up speed. Expect decisions that were previously stuck to begin loosening, especially if you've been waiting on someone else's green light. But here's the thing, the real green light needs to come from you. Don't wait for external validation to make a move you already know is aligned. Whether it's pitching an idea, applying for a new role, launching a side hustle, or asking for more responsibility, this month supports brave moves made with clear logic. You might also find yourself rethinking your definition of productivity. For a sign fueled by vision and motion, it's easy to confuse busyness with progress. But this May, you'll feel the difference. Productivity that drains you will start to feel hollow, even when it's efficient. Meanwhile, projects that challenge you to think bigger, even if they're slower or messier, will energize you. If you're self-employed, this is a golden month to review your business model or streamline your systems. Is your pricing reflective of your value? Is your workflow sustainable? You may get intuitive nudges or even actual feedback that prompts an upgrade. Follow through. This month is all about building a framework that honors both your creative spark and your long-term sustainability. And don't underestimate the power of networking this month. Not in the forced transactional way, but in the let's reconnect and talk real goals kind of way. You could benefit from aligning with people whose skills complement yours, or who see potential in you that you haven't fully claimed yet. Around May 20th, as the sun shifts into your 7th house, themes of collaboration and professional partnership come into sharper focus. This could manifest as a formal contract, a new alliance, or simply a deeper understanding of how to work with, not just over, others. If you've been trying to carry everything alone, this is where you start realizing the power of shared vision. One word of advice: watch out for distraction masquerading as opportunity. Not every shiny thing is meant for you. Stay grounded in your why and say no to anything that pulls you off course, no matter how tempting it looks. This is a month to consolidate your gains, fine-tune your direction, and prep the runway for a bigger flight. You may not reach the peak yet, but you're well on your way, and you'll feel it every step of the climb. This month doesn't bring chaos to your finances, but it does bring a deeper awareness of how you manage, perceive, and emotionally respond to money. And that's a much bigger shift than it sounds. May 2025 isn't here to throw you off. It's here to hand you a magnifying glass and quietly ask, is your current relationship with money built to support the life you want to live? There's a distinct pull to get more intentional about your financial foundations. This isn't just about budgeting apps or watching your spending, although those tools may be useful. It's about clarifying the values that drive your financial decisions. Are you saving out of fear, or are you investing from a place of purpose? Are you spending to avoid discomfort, or because something genuinely enhances your quality of life? This month encourages you to slow down and really examine the flow of your money, where it's going, and why. Emotional spending patterns may come into focus, especially around mid-May when a Venus-Saturn aspect highlights what brings you lasting comfort versus short-lived satisfaction. You might be surprised to realize that the things you used to use as coping mechanisms no longer soothe you. That's growth. Celebrate that. You may also experience a turning point when it comes to passive income or long-term investments. Maybe it's a new savings strategy, a piece of financial advice that actually clicks, or even a reawakening of interest in crypto, stocks, or real estate. But here's the thing. Don't jump in just because others are. You're not looking for hype. You're looking for wisdom-backed risk. And that requires slowing down and doing your homework. For some Sagittarians, May bring a decision around a significant purchase or shift in living expenses. Maybe you're contemplating relocating, investing in a work-from-home setup, or consolidating debt. If so, take your time. Consult someone you trust. This month rewards patience and discernment, not impulsive action masked as courage. And if you've been undercharging in your business, giving too much for free, or hesitating to raise your rates, this is your nudge to realign. Money is not just a reward for effort. It's a mirror of how much you believe your work is worth. Let your income catch up to your value. That might mean having uncomfortable conversations, but you'll leave those conversations with far more clarity and probably a better contract. This energy also whispers to the part of you that's been tolerating just enough. The paycheck that covers bills but doesn't leave room for joy. The savings account that hasn't grown because you've been so focused on survival. The limiting beliefs you picked up about what's realistic or responsible. May offers a gentle but firm push. You're allowed to want more. And the most empowering part? You're also capable of creating it. Your Zodiac ruler, Jupiter, is quietly building behind the scenes. While he may not hand you a lottery ticket this month, he is offering compounding momentum, the kind that doesn't make headlines but makes real, steady difference. Each wise choice, each aligned decision, each boundary you set with yourself or others adds up. This is financial self-respect in action. This month is about earning, saving, spending, and investing with integrity. Not in perfection, but in presence. You're not managing money just to stay afloat. You're managing it to create a life that supports who you're becoming. That's not just budgeting, that's wealth building. As your external world heats up with opportunities and momentum, your inner world, your emotional home, your physical space, your relationship with family, begins to whisper more insistently. And what it's whispering is this: you need a place to land, not just a bed to sleep in or a room to exist within, but a true sanctuary. May 2025 gently but firmly nudges you toward that truth. You're used to motion, you thrive in expansion. But now the cosmos asks you, where do you go when you need to just be? Where do you feel seen, not just productive? Safe, not just functional? Loved, not just respected? The answer to that question might surprise you this month. Some Sagittarians will feel a literal pull toward reorganizing their living environment. Maybe it starts as a need to clean out a drawer or rearrange a room, but beneath it lies something deeper, a desire to create energetic clarity in your surroundings. You're sensitive right now to clutter, not just physical, but emotional. If something in your home feels outdated, stagnant, or burdened with old memories, don't be surprised if you're suddenly inspired to release it. And this doesn't stop at furniture. You might find yourself reevaluating the energy of your home as a whole. Does it feel like a reflection of who you are now, or who you used to be? Does it nourish you, or simply house you? If your living situation has felt off, or you've been toying with the idea of relocating, the second half of May could bring clarity. Whether it's a decision to move, to stay and upgrade, or to redefine what home means to you, this is about building an environment that supports, not drains, you. And the decision you make won't just impact your logistics. It'll impact your emotional well-being for the rest of the year. On the family front, conversations may deepen. Emotional topics may surface, not necessarily with drama, but with a quiet honesty that's long overdue. You could find yourself having a talk with a parent, sibling, or child that rewrites the script of how you interact. Maybe it's an apology, a boundary, a confession, or even a simple moment of shared laughter that softens years of unspoken tension. For some, ancestral themes rise up, patterns you've inherited, beliefs around responsibility, loyalty, or silence may suddenly come into focus. And instead of blaming or judging, you'll be able to observe with compassion. You may finally understand why certain dynamics unfolded the way they did, and feel empowered to make different choices moving forward. There's a beautiful healing opportunity here. If you've been carrying emotional weight for your family, May gives you permission to put some of it down. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You don't have to fix everything. You are allowed to prioritize your peace. And if you felt disconnected from your roots, this month may surprise you. A family member reaching out, a photo unearthed, a recipe, a song, a story that reminds you of who you come from and why you've always been different. That difference isn't something to reconcile, it's something to honor. By the end of the month, you'll begin to feel a quiet but powerful shift, a sense that your home, your family, and your emotional center are no longer things you're managing or avoiding, but spaces you are actively choosing to design with care. And that's when everything else in your life, career, creativity, even confidence, starts to expand. Because when your roots feel supported, your branches can grow higher. If the first half of May feels like building the framework, the final stretch is where the light comes through the beams. Not in a quiet, meditative way, but in a full-color, life-on-blast kind of way. That part of you, the one that craves new skies, belly laughs, inspiration without deadlines, it begins to stir again. And you're ready. The sun's movement into your 7th house around May 20th shifts focus toward connection, companionship, and shared experiences. This isn't just romantic partnership. It's any relationship that brings you out of isolation and back into joyful exchange. The more you lean into play, curiosity, and real connection, the more alive you'll feel. Travel, whether it's physical or metaphorical, is at the heart of this revival. You might find yourself dreaming about a trip you haven't taken yet, or reminiscing about an adventure from years ago. That's not escapism. That's your soul reminding you of who you are beneath the tasks and timelines. You weren't meant to stay in one place, mentally, emotionally, or geographically, for too long. Even if you can't book a flight right now, movement is essential. A change of scenery, a spontaneous road trip, a long walk through a new part of town. These aren't luxuries this month, they're medicine. They rewire your brain. They soften the edges of overthinking. They remind you that life is wider, weirder, and more wonderful than the inside of your email inbox. And then there's the creative spark. This part of the month isn't about producing something to show the world. It's about letting creativity bring you back to yourself. Whether it's through photography, painting, dancing, cooking, journaling, or even rearranging furniture, this is about joy that isn't productive. It doesn't need an audience. It just needs permission. Some of you may rediscover a passion you abandoned, not because you didn't love it, but because life got loud. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's simply being fully present for a sunrise without thinking about the next step. Whatever it is, it's not too late. May tells you, you don't need to start from scratch. You just need to start again. There's also something magical about the people entering your orbit now. Encounters feel fated. Conversations feel unusually electric. You may meet someone, romantic or not, who reflects back a part of you you've forgotten. Don't underestimate a short interaction. This is the kind of month where a casual coffee chat becomes a creative partnership, or where a shared laugh leads to something deeply healing. For many Sagittarians, the final week of May brings a strong urge to say yes more often, not out of obligation, but out of aliveness. Say yes to the invitation. Say yes to the weekend trip. Say yes to that part of you that's tired of waiting for the perfect moment. And if you feel a little reckless, good. You've been too careful with your joy. You are allowed to chase delight this month. You are allowed to play, to flirt, to create, to wander, not because it's efficient, but because it's who you are when you're free. By the end of May, you're not just lighter, you're brighter. And you didn't get there by forcing it. You got there by remembering that joy isn't a luxury, it's your birthright.